Allah is again reminding us and asking us this question to think about, that who is the one that's providing you, who is the one that protects us, who is the one that helps us, and who is the one that provides us this risk. And if Allah chooses to stop my breathing today, or to take away any of my limbs, or to take away any of my family members, who is it that can protect that? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our next episode of Quranic Transformation. Let's begin with verse number 20. أَمَّنْ هَذَا الَّذِي هُوَ جُندٌ لَكُمْ يَنْصُرُكُمْ مِنْ دُونِ الرَّحْمَنِ إِنِ الْكَافِرُونَ إِلَّا فِي غُرُورٍ أَمَّنْ هَذَا الَّذِي يَرْزُقُكُمْ إِنْ أَمْسَكَ رِزْقَهُ بل لجوا في عتو ونفور. Also, which powerless force will come to you, help you instead of the most compassionate? Indeed, the disbelievers are only lost in delusion. And then the next tells us, who is it that will provide for you if he withholds his provision? In fact, they persist in arrogance and aversion to the truth. So what jumps out to me is first and foremost, again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using and introducing us with his attribute of Ar-Rahman, again, the attribute of mercy, as these things are pointing us about things that Allah is providing us, right? So providing us victory, providing us safety, and so on and so forth. And that's from the Rahman. And same thing, the provisions that we have, the rizq that we have, whether it be food, happiness, emotional stability, family, health, time, whatever, all these things are provided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is Ar-Rahman. And Allah is again reminding us and asking us this question to think about, that who is the one that's providing you, who is the one that protects us, who is the one that helps us, and who is the one that provides us this risk. And if Allah were to choose to take away any of that, if Allah was to choose to stop my breathing today, or to take away any of my limbs, or to take away any of my family members, who is it that can protect that? And that is something really key to understand, because as we go along and trying to please other people and trying to fit in, the question becomes that, okay, well, what is it that really matters to us, and who is it that actually controls us? So sometimes our acts of disobedience is a manifestation that there's some sort of an error or some sort of a misunderstanding on where we are actually putting our trust.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing that kind of comes out to me is about being lost in delusion, right? Like, it makes me think, like, what is it like when you're lost? And part of my thinking is that when you're lost, you're like not sure where to go, and you're not sure what the right way is, what the wrong way is. And then also you don't know what's around the corner because you're lost. You might be in a bad neighborhood or in the jungle or whatever. And it's like very dangerous to be lost in a way. But also some of this seems like delusion is like where you kind of like lost your own self, where you've deceived yourself and you've kind of ended up lost. So this whole notion of like we wrong our own souls, and we basically, we have some say in our destiny, and we can choose to actually obey the guidance of Allah, or we can choose to reject it. And it just shows that people that reject it, they are lost totally.
Beautiful. Yes. And I think, so yeah, maybe from picking on that point of people who have done this, they're lost totally, right? So I think one thing that we can take as an action item, or something to think on, is who am I surrounded with? Am I surrounded with people who actually prioritize and give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Or because sometimes maybe necessary, you want to be surrounded with people of high aspiration, high ambitions, people who are hustling, working hard. But many of those times they may be deceived in not thanking and not acknowledging Allah. And as we mentioned, like not having Allah in the equation, then that can actually have a negative effect on you, unless you can really stand out. And we see this, right? I mean, if you talk the example of sports with Khabib and his crew, they are working hard, but when they win and as they're preparing, they are actually acknowledging and they're not shy to have this identity that I understand that I'm going to work hard, but success is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if He doesn't want, then I won't have it. So either making your environment easy, that you do not surround yourself with the people that are not on the same wavelength, or being comfortable in being unique, in being, different, and in being true to what you believe in.
But it's a really good practical example, bro, because if you think about it, like, have you ever been in a situation where you're kind of going with someone else and, you all get lost, right? Because the guy who's kind of like driving the first car, you're in the second car following, he actually leads you to getting lost as well. Right? Even though sometimes, like, we're driving, I'm like, no, he should go that way. Why do you go that way? And, brother's in front and he's going the wrong way. I'm like, he's going the wrong way. And I follow him and we both end up lost or wrong way now, right? And the truth is, this is the reality of people in Jahannam. There's going to be some people in Jahannam who are going to be like, what? How come these guys are here? Like, we were following you guys because we wanted to have this or we wanted to have that. And we now ended up here. Like, ya Allah, give these guys double the punishment because we were just following them. So I think it's such a strong point that being around the right people is so critical to your akhirah.
Very beautiful, right? And then as the shaitan said, like, I made a promise to you, I didn't compel you, and Allah also made a promise to you, and Allah's promise was truthful, and then you chose to follow me. Last thing that comes to me from an action perspective is, if I realize these things, and if I'm struggling with something in my life, whether I want to have it or something that I had and I'm kind of losing it, someone is sick in the family or what have you, who am I turning to first? And where is my hope, right? Is it all in the medical center and, focusing on getting those appointments or making those meetings for my business or sales or clients or what have you? Or, I'm following the sunnah and I'm also raising my hands or putting my head down in sujood and actually making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, realizing that, yes, my efforts are important and they play some part, and that's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I'm accountable and responsible for doing. But the true success, the results, and the changes in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So do I actually feel that from my heart, or am I just focused on the spot that, if I can only get a yes from this person, if I can get an investment from this person, or I can get an appointment from this doctor, then I'm all set? Or am I really thinking that I need a yes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Okay, so with that, inshallah, we'll end this episode and we'll see you guys.